Here is a view of my trip to South Africa in 2017. Started off heading out. This is a picture from over Atlanta. Here's the ranch itself. The area in the foreground has been cleared by giant mulching machines.
We were in the same area last night at sunset. Back here again.
Okay, this is my room. It's got to be about the fanciest place that I've stayed. View outside the window here. Been here just a few minutes. Already it's looking really great. And the food, it was just fantastic. Somebody asked that I take pictures of the food, and so here's just a couple of shots of some of the food that we had. And the very first day we got to go out, take a look around. There are a number of rhinoceros in this one area. This is a mating pair, and they're not very wary of vehicles. Wouldn't want to get out of the vehicle, I don't think. But they let us get very close, as you can see in some of these photos. Actually, they came close to us. We were just sitting still most of the time. But you can see how sharp that front horn is. You would not want to get in the way of that thing. And this guy was rubbing his nose against this anthill. And then after a while, he just rested his nose up against it, just rested his head there. And here's a giraffe. I didn't even know that they would lie down like this, but apparently they do. And again, here's more rhinoceros on a different day. And this is more of a family group. You can see there's a smaller one here. And then this is an Inyala, one of the spiral-horned antelopes of Africa. This is a pretty nice looking bull. Got to see a lot of Inyala on this ranch. And then here's some sunrise photos. Actually, that's a sunset, pardon me. Some nice sunset photos. We had beautiful sunrises and sunsets when we were out there. In these sunset photos, that last one, you could see the brush. Here's a caracal, also known as a lynx. This is the first animal I got, and we got this chasing with dogs. This is the dog handler, and you see my trekking pole. That was very useful for running through the brush after this guy. And then here's a sequence of photos showing another dog handler with his pack of dogs. There were actually 2 dog packs used in this hunt. Later that same day, I got this beautiful water buck. It's a very nice trophy, an old one. This is me with the PH Ralph Coster. The next day we went down to Elephant Valley, and you can see here there's several elephants in this photo, this sequence of photos. And one of the things that they do is to tear up thorn trees. They'll push them over, and then just so that they can eat the roots. They don't eat the rest, they just eat the roots. So there's a lot of downed thorn trees in this area. Here you can see this one has grabbed hold of this thorn bush and is pulling it up there. Possibly it didn't like us around, but pulling this thorn bush up the tree, up the trail, so that it can eat the bark off of it. And I believe this is one of the young males. Now this is the big male. I can recognize the tracking collar on him. Very impressive animals. They're just huge. And then another day we were out and I saw this honeycomb sitting on the ground. Made sure there were no bees attached first before I took these shots. And this shows the vehicle that we used a lot of the time to get around the ranch, a Toyota Land Cruiser. The aloe is a symbol of South Africa. Here's another Nyala. This one's a breeding bull that had escaped the breeding area, but has a little green ear tag. This is my bush buck. This bush buck was spotted by one of the ranch hands, and we went and checked the area out. Got a nice stalk on him, and good shot. And this is one of the people who helped us spot him. Here's a mixed herd of zebra and eland. And here you can see the eland part of the herd, and the zebra is bringing up the rear. Took pictures of some birds also. Had a very nice telephoto lens with me on this trip. Several different little songbirds. These cactus were all over also. Very interesting. I was able to get this very nice mountain reed buck. It's a difficult shot, about 260 yards on a small target, but worked out very well. Very nice trophy. One of the things I really wanted to get. And then shortly after we got this guy, we saw this herd of Cape buffalo silhouetted on top of a ridge just a little bit before sunset. Quite a number of buffalo up there. They were inside a breeding area, and they were darting a female that they wanted to get some medical information on. And here you can see a vet tech getting it supported so that it can breathe properly. They're very careful with these animals, and so they wanted to get it up on its chest so it could breathe properly. And they allowed me to give some of the injections, some of the vaccinations, I guess. So I get to do a couple of injections into a live Cape buffalo. My first encounter close up with a Cape buffalo, and it's really close up. Then they put it on this tarp and lifted it into the vehicle. And another day, I got this really nice Inyala, nice ivory tips on there. Great hunt on this one also. They also took delivery of some common reed buck, and there's a bunch of them in these two trailers here, and they're getting ready to release them. And then I'm going to show a whole bunch of shots here quickly. I put the camera in fast mode. Really nice buck, common reed buck there, and a bunch of does. It was a lot of fun watching them come racing out of the vehicle. This buck went racing off. this doe decided to head up to the ranch house. Rather interesting location to choose. Here's another nice Inyala. Again, nice ivory tips on him. We also went down to a new acquisition. This property here had this nice scenic overlook. We actually hunted a trophy pig we saw on the far side of that. And also over there we saw this amazing bird's nest. Just huge. Later on the way back saw this beautiful sable. I've always thought that the sable is the most beautiful antelope in all of Africa. One day we had a brunch set up for us, a very special brunch at this location overlooking another part of the ranch. And very fancy. Not exactly roughing it here. Had a very nice brunch, great food. Grilled game and eggs and fruit. Then came the Cape Buffalo. This is exactly what I wanted. There's a whole bunch of pictures here. This was my main quarry on this trip. Solid boss, exactly like I wanted. This is an old bull. They estimate the age is between 10 and 12 years old. Was really pleased. I was also really pleased I was able to drop him before he got to that really thick, nasty bush. Now this sequence of photos is for all of those who have had to carry game out of the bush. This is the way to do it. Have a crane lift it out. Also did some culling while I was there. They had way too many impala and warthog, and they asked if I would be interested in doing some culling using that suppressed 30-06. Here's some sunrise photos. This is from right outside the lodge. You can see the beautiful colors here. And they just kept getting better and better throughout the day, or throughout the morning. Made it worth getting up early. And remember that sable? Well, decided to go back and go hunting, and this is the same one that I showed pictures of earlier, and just absolutely outstanding trophy. Just couldn't be happier. And this is me with the tracker Skinner Abram, and here's the sable by himself. Took a trip to Grahamstown. This is the only cathedral in the entire Eastern Cape, and a little bit of view of Grahamstown and then the outside of the cathedral. We also took a trip to Oceana, which is a resort, beautiful place. Looks like a great place to decompress after a long flight from the US. Then we went to the PH's beach house, and this got a couple shots of some birds there, testing out my long lens. These are rock pigeons, and this picture you can see the little bird's got something to eat in his mouth. And we also went fishing up the river. We weren't as successful as this bird. You can see he's got a fish in his beak there. But we did see these trees here. These are as much as 300 years old and very closely protected by the South African government. It's hard to imagine something this small can be this old. But here you can see some views up the river where we went fishing, and then the night scene. But the main reason we were there was to go deep sea fishing. Didn't get very far off the coast, as you can see here, But we did see a school of bait fish apparently. Oh, you can actually see the porpoise jumping here. One of the people caught a shark, which we didn't keep, obviously. They just brought it in and cut the line. But pretty impressive set of teeth. And here's the one fish that I did catch. But I did have a good time. We went from there to a place where they had spotted this great big bush pig. And I was the fourth hunter to try to get this guy. The first three couldn't make the deal. And I got him. It was a very large pig, about 200 pounds. Also, while I was there, they were darting some Cape buffalo that they had lured into this corral with feed. And here you can see them inside the corral. And here's the bull that they darted. Again, being very careful with the animals and checking them. They darted the bull, two calves, two cows. Yeah, pretty easy to load the calves up into the truck. The cows, not quite so easy. Takes a lot more people, a lot bigger.
One, two. Come on, come on, come on. Chala, chala. Okay, kann dieser get door, look. Kann dieser get door.
And then they loaded an even larger cow. I don't show sequence of them loading the bull, but they take even more people to load the bull. Loading the cows was hard enough. And then to show that they were all okay, this is in the release pen, showing that they're safe and sound. Took some more bird photos. This was handheld with my new lens. Really pleased with the way these pictures turned out. This is a hoodoo. And here's a herd of sable that we saw another part of the ranch. Some of them had been released fairly early and still had ear tags. Beautiful, beautiful sable. And I'd never seen flowers growing directly out the trunk of a tree. And this tree in the center is the one where it's growing. And here's the warthog that I got. This is more of a trophy warthog. Not gigantic, but it was a lot of fun to get this guy. And it shows how close we got to some of the rhinos. Here's another family group. You can see that there's a bit of a smaller one there. The one on the right there is pretty young, there in the middle. It was really nice to see these rhinos, except on the very last day, went out running, and this guy came charging after me for a little bit. Not very pleasant. Here's another nice little bush buck. It'll be a nice trophy someday. Lots of bush buck on this ranch also. And then there's a quick sequence of a couple of warthogs and chasing each other. And here's some more Inyala, or pardon me, there looks like kudu. Here's in Yala. Nice bull
Big cows.
with a bunch of cows.
There's a bull coming at the back.
Tremendous variety of game on
Only
this
after about a
property.
year and a half do the little ones start changing. If they become bulls, if they're bulls, they start going dark. There's a young bull, third from the. There he comes now. See,
Yeah, here
still
comes the
got
big bull.
normal stripes. He's going slightly black in the neck. You see him? He's
The one at the very back, or the
going past
anyway?
the thorn tree now.
Okay.
It's a young
Yeah.
bull. The little horns. He's slowly starting to get a different color too. It's so beautiful animals. There's a young bull. There's a bull.
And there were lots of vervet monkeys in the area, but they're very skittish. This is the only time I was able to get some photos of them. Normally they dart away and hide very quickly. I guess they're low on the food chain. And of course there's lots of giraffe on the property. We saw a giraffe fairly frequently. Could get fairly close to them, as you can see here. If we got out of the vehicle, it wouldn't be so easy to get close to them. Apparently they're very difficult to approach on foot, but fairly tolerant of people in vehicles. Beautiful animals. And here's some more rhino photos. This really little guy was a lot of fun to get some photos of him or her. Don't know the gender of the baby there. We saw one that was even smaller, but Mom was really protective of that one and rushed him off into the brush right away. This one was big enough that I guess the mother wasn't quite so concerned. Here's a rather odd looking impala. One horn's a lot shorter than the other. And here's a blessbuck that I got. They didn't want them on the ranch, so we were out culling and they said, yeah, take him too. Here's the big bull elephant again, back in Elephant Valley, and wanted to get some pictures, show the tusk on this guy. Not enormous, but he's working at it. And then we saw something that was truly amazing. In amongst the family group, we saw this baby. This baby was not there the day before. This baby elephant is less than 24 hours old. So got lots of photos of this little guy. Just an amazing sight to see. This brand new baby elephant. The chances of seeing a newborn elephant in the wild are incredibly low. Here you can see them suckling. Just walking around right behind Mom, and then under, was feeding as often as possible. And you could tell it was very unsteady in walking. But again, feeding at every opportunity. Just absolutely incredible opportunity to see this. And Mom kept on eating also. Gotta keep working to feed the baby. And also got some video. Here's the herd. There's about a dozen in this herd.
Jeez, it's a small elephant. Let's take a video.
And this shows the little guy on his unsteady legs. Absolutely amazing way to end up a fantastic trip.
We're actually tearing the top of her left ear.
And so that was my incredible trip to South Africa.